afternoon, Experimental Methods class. Welcome to another episode of Experiment Weekly with Behaving Badly. My name is Victoria.
And I'm Caitlin. Today we are looking at altruistic behavior. Here is Justin with a review on the subject.
Thanks, Caitlin and Victoria. Good afternoon. I'm Justin. I found an interesting psychological study conducted by Pei Liu, Vasily Safin, Barry Yang, and Christian Luhmann. The study dealt with direct and indirect influence of prosocial and selfish behaviors of prior research that has suggested that altruistic behavior can exert direct social influence. Participants in the study were told to play a game involving the investment of tokens given by the researchers. The investments were made in pairs, that is, two participants whose total amount of money invested would be multiplied by 1.5 and split between them. The players' earnings would be their investment earnings plus the amount that they did not invest. The researchers could study the influence of prosocial and selfish behavior by generating the first amount invested in either a selfish or generous way. That is, they would act as the first investor and monitor the participants' response to that investment, responding selfishly or altruistically. 125 students participated in this study from Stony Brook University. Researchers either assigned the participants to Node 1 or Node 2, the difference being that Node 1 was directly influenced by the first amount invested by the researchers, and Node 2 consisted of indirect influence, where they would not have had an opportunity to invest until after the Node 1 investment. Participants were tested individually in separate rooms to avoid contamination of internal validity. The results of the study indicated that altruistic behavior had a significant influence on the participants who directly interacted with it. Selfish behavior also had a significant influence, more influential than altruistic behavior.
That was sensational, Justin. It's so interesting how people will respond to prosocial behavior.
I'm glad you found that interesting, Victoria, because as you know, here on Experimental Weekly, we like to test out theories of our own.
Here's Kelsey describing our take on altruistic behavior.
This is Kelsey with Behaving Badly, reporting on the methodology and results of an experiment which tests the research question, does prosocial behavior provoke a prosocial response?
To answer this question, Confederates stood by the door at Zool Library in a group to wait for subjects to approach the door in accordance with their extraneous controls. One of two Confederates, one male and one female, then proceeded to open the door for the subject. Data were taken for both eye contact and cell phone use. The other two Confederates stood nearby to record subjects' responses. Participant population consisted of 50 participants. Randomization was used to select college students regardless of age, gender, and appearance. To control for extraneous variables, Confederates used elimination for people moving too quickly or who were in a hurry, for people in pairs or groups, or for people who went through a separate door. Confederates also used counterbalancing, so both male and female Confederates collected equal quantities of data.
Here's a couple of videos showing the experiment in real time. Before we discuss our results, let's cut to a quick commercial break.
Around the campfire and sing our campfire song. Our CAMPFIRESONG song. And if you don't think that we can sing it faster, then you're wrong. But it'll help if you just sing along. CAMPFIRESONG song. CAMPFIRESONG song. And if you don't think that we can sing it faster, then you're wrong. But it'll help if you just sing along. CAMPFIRESONG song. Patrick!
Son, CAMPFIRESONG!
Clifford! Good! It'll help! It'll help if you just sing along.
Welcome back. In case you're just now tuning in, Behaving Badly conducted an experiment to test whether a prosocial behavior would provoke a prosocial response. I wonder if our hypothesis was supported by our findings. Kelsey?
The results of this experiment show that Confederates failed to reject the null hypothesis. While one participant did not comment, the overwhelming majority said thank you regardless of eye contact versus cell phone use. The statistics show that chi equals 1.28 and p-value equals 0.26, which is greater than 0.05. This concludes that no significant results were found to provide evidence that eye contact affects prosocial responses.
Stay tuned after this commercial break.
everybody scream!
There's squirrels in my pants!
That girl's got some serious squirrels in her pants.
There's squirrels in my pants!
Tell me what's making you jump like that. Squirrels in my pants. Ain't got no chickens, ain't got no rats.
Squirrels in my pants!
S to the I to the M to the P, then maybe you can be moving like me. Step right over and watch me put it down. Step right over and watch me put it. S to the I to the M to the P.
Well, you got backcomb water in your pants.
S-I-M-P, squirrels in my pants. How can I qualify for government grants? S-I-M-P, squirrels in my pants.
Hypnotize me, put me in a trance.
S-I-M-P, squirrels in my pants. Got an Aunt Florence living in France. Can't see the
Squirrels in my pants!
Step right over and watch me put it down. To the I to the M. Step right over and watch me put it. To the I to the M to the P.
Welcome back. Let's get into our segment called Table Talk.
So, Victoria, how do you think the results correspond to the literature?
Very good question, Justin. Our experiment is similar to the study in that the prosocial behavior we manipulated resulted in the participants exhibiting altruistic behaviors in response. As you stated earlier, the study exemplified that the pressure of being generous led to a pattern of generosity in the following participants. I believe that this is also the case for our study, being that the Confederates' act of kindness pressured the participants to respond with kindness.
I agree. But as any good scientist knows, an experiment is only as good if it is externally valid.
Well, Justin, our experiment has good external and internal validity. However, we did not consider that the participants may have walked through another door or opened the door for the Confederates.
I'm glad you brought that up, because if you remember, there were several times during the experiment that males would open the door for me in a chivalrous manner. It was frustrating regarding the collection of data, but we could have coded for it.
Something else we could have changed in the experiment was, instead of looking down at our cell phones, we could have had headphones in as an alternate independent variable to manipulate.
Well, that's all we have this week. We'll catch you on the flip side.